Hi guys, I'm Dr. Fiore, your professor for business and professional writing, and I just wanted to post a short lecture because I received an email from a student a few minutes ago, and the student asked about the assignment for the targeted resume and cover letter. And the student's question was, should the information, can you make up information that goes into the targeted resume, or does it have to be realistic? And I think that's a great question. And in my experience as a professor, if one student has a question, there are definitely and one student asks, there are more students that have the same question. So I thought it would be helpful for you to post this. So with the targeted resume and the resume period and the cover letter, if some of you are a little daunted by the assignment, maybe you are a little bit intimidated because you are a student and you haven't yet entered the workforce, in the sense that you are now taking the courses you need that will give you the information and the experience you need to get your chosen job. And you may feel that, yes, I have had jobs, I do have work experience, but it's not relevant to the job that I'm going to be applying for one day, or it's not relevant to the job that I'm applying for with this assignment. And what I would say to you is, if that's why you were wondering if you could make up experience or skills, don't worry if you find yourself in that position, because first, every student, every person has been in that place, been in your shoes at some point. But also you have a few choices in this position. Now, typically, in a targeted resume, or in most resumes, it is, you want to put the experience section before the education section, because the experience section contains information that is more important. However, if you are thinking that your work experience is a little bit light, and maybe you feel that your work experience isn't relevant to the job you're applying for, or the job that you ultimately want to get, you can decide or choose to put the education section before the experience section. I wouldn't know. The argument is that, let's say you do have you've had a great education, and you think that putting that information first would work to your advantage, because the prospective employer will see that, oh, you went to Kane University, you had a 4.0 GPA, you majored in accounting, and in addition to that, you were president of the Young Diplomats, and you ran track. So those are all really amazing accomplishments, and maybe you feel that it's to your advantage for the prospective employer to see that about you first. If that is the case, you can put the education section before experience. But something I would say to you, when you are listing your work experience and you're thinking that, oh, none of these jobs or none of this experience is relevant to the job that I want, or my dream job, what I would say to you is, don't think that way, because what you want to do is emphasize the skills that were required in your last job or in your last jobs, the skills that in many cases will be desirable across the board in many different jobs. For example, let's say you worked at Target and you're thinking, well, I want to be a preschool teacher, so how can my job experience at Target be relevant? Well, maybe you were, in your job at Target, you were sometimes in a leadership role, and you were in charge of inspiring people to do things, and also in creating teams to do things, and in I don't want to say in ordering, but in creating responsibilities for those who were subordinate to you. But the point is, what you want to do is identify skills that you demonstrated in your last job, which are going to still be desirable in the jobs that you're applying for. What other skills? Well, leadership is one. Any skills that maybe depends on the job, but let's say that you had responsibilities which required you to take charge of changing situations. So let's say you had to think on your feet. That's a really important skill. Being able to demonstrate that you're good with people, that you are someone who is personable, and you can talk to people easily, and you can make people feel welcome. Those are all traits and skills that are going to be valued in any job, just about any job. So don't ever feel like the job experience or the work experience you have isn't relevant, because the skills that you used, and then also some of the tasks or duties that you may have had are going to be duties and tasks that you're going to have going forward. So don't necessarily just think of the job, but think of the skills that you used while working in this position. So I hope that this is helpful, and I look forward to reading your Unit 2 discussion post. I'm sorry, I'm a little behind. A little bit behind on the grading because I wasn't feeling well yesterday. I had a really bad headache, and so I wasn't able to do any grading yesterday, but I'm very well rested and feel back at 120%. So I will be getting on your work shortly. Have a great day.